Um, Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben Gessel. How's it going? Um, this is going to be a little bit different kind of video because I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to talk about, and I know I've mentioned that kind of train of thought at the very beginning of these videos at least several times before. So I understand if you're like, okay, rolling your eyes, teensy bit, maybe, but whatever whatever's stirring in my soul. Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds serious. That sounds heavy. That sounds, well, whatever's stirring my soul will be expressed, at least before hitting the hay here. Because let me tell you guys, oh, again, I'm trying to think how to put this here. Um, well, I guess the first thing on my mind here is that I've been listening to a lot of, or watching a fair bit of church videos, my church stuff on YouTube, general conference videos, and some pretty weighty stuff on there. And I just, gosh, I just don't know where to start with some of these thoughts. I just have no idea. There's a lot of things that you guys are wanting in life without me even without me even I didn't even have I didn't even think to include this in this video. But there are probably so many things that you guys are wanting in life, or don't know you want, but actually do want, that have something to do with um, what um, what I've sensed on some on some level, the concept at least, things that I want as well, that sometimes are tough to come by, or I don't know, just tough times where what you want necessarily is it's hard to know how to get it in a way. So, man, I got to back up some more before I get into this stuff. And I might have to make more than one video. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But maybe I'll start with some of the misconceptions that people I grew up with had, regardless of how they presented themselves in terms of whatever was going on in their life that was made them happy and pleasant to be around, or less so. Misconceptions. It's the same misconceptions that you see with teenagers and adults, and particularly in adults, and then they teach those things to their kids, and just cycle continues. And I guess I'm being nice when I say misconceptions. Well, what's the first misconception we're talking about here? One of the misconceptions that's glaringly apparent, glaringly across the board, is that um, people don't want to be around you because blank. Yeah, but it's kind of a question of what kind of people don't want to be around you. Not just everybody. Who is there in existence that nobody wants to actually be around? Nobody. I would think it would have to be the most unpleasant person I could possibly imagine. But even the most unpleasant person I can possibly imagine still has people that want to be around him. And I know on some level, I'm sure I've talked about this very subject before, but in different words. But but there are people that are going to really harp on that. They're going to make you feel like, and me, feel like there's nobody that wants to spend any time with us, listen to us, hang out with us. So that's the first misconception. And that was very, on some level, that was cruelty, the definition of cruelty when I was younger. The definition, the very definition of it. You didn't have to punch somebody. You didn't have to. You didn't have to hurt them at all. You didn't have to even seriously hurt them. All you had to do was make somebody feel like they were a social misfit, an outcast. It's far worse because that stuff sticks around with people. And you cannot listen to the 12 apostles in my church while still believing that about yourself. The two feelings, the two states of being are incompatible. But you might feel, well, I don't know. I should probably just keep going with, what I've experienced in my life. And the reason, I don't know. It's all kinds of reasons, but why people do what they do. But it didn't get any better. Of course, there are plenty of misconceptions. There have been plenty of misconceptions about who I actually am as a person. And as I've gotten older, I've wondered, was it just the fact that these people were just very, very, very dense and very insensitive or very, more to the point, imperceptive? Well, there were people that were very perceptive, extremely so, but yet didn't really seem to really want to talk to me much. But they certainly knew who I was. So that, in a way, stung even more. Because you have the knuckleheads that are just, they're bullies or whatever, they talk a lot of crap. But then you have people that actually truly do know who you are and what your personality is actually like. And you get that feeling. And then you would think that because they know you so well, and you know yourself so well, that they ought to want to spend more time with you or hang out more, whatever it is. But that isn't necessarily the case. And then you wonder, if they don't want to spend more time with you, why? Is it like one's own fault? Is it something about me that isn't so great? Is it them? Is it like our personalities are incompatible? Is this person wanting other kinds of friends? And we often never really get that response from people. What it actually is, because that's a very uncomfortable conversation. And if you guys have ever had that conversation with somebody before, how can it become comfortable unless there are things that you haven't told that person, they haven't told you, and it turns out that both of you want to spend time with each other. It sounds like it's something romantic. If it is more romantic, or if it is a guy and girl, then it is definitely a lot more. If it's just buddies, it usually isn't that big of a deal, but I don't know. Anyway, so yes, I'm also being involved. I'm involved with the abundant life thing, and one of my gut feelings is that, along with also watching people on YouTube tonight that are really down the dumps, to say the least, and how many people there are that are really seriously depressed and lonely in life, and you guys, you have no idea. You honestly have no idea how many people there are that are miserable right now. I don't know what the percentage is, but whatever it is, it's quite high. Quite high. And that's just the people that are on YouTube. There are a lot of people that don't have videos on YouTube or other places. We don't know who they are, and they're probably extremely miserable as well. You know, and complicating all this, I don't even know if the teensiest fraction of people still in the world. I want to change that. Get out there and meet people somehow. Go to different countries and meet all the shy girls, and heck, have some friends that are shy guys too. But whatever it is, just get out of my shell more. I want to do that. I'm serious. It's going to be expensive. I don't know. Um, I mean, you had somebody in England. England is one of my favorite countries in the world. In northern England, he's just miserable. He's depressed. I didn't even know. I mean, what do I know a lot about England and northern England, but how he described his life and how he described how things were. To me, it was like I still have a romanticized view of England, but I also realized I was like, I got it, you know. I get what's going on. So when this guy's friend, when he was younger, all of his friends were okay, but most of them were kind of fake friends, and a lot of people in his area where he lives just go to the pub or whatever. They go get some drinks, and then they're not very interesting to talk to. And his nicer friends, or a lot of his nicer friends, are married. They have their own lives, and so he feels like it's awkward to talk to them. And or I don't know. And it sounds like he's not, it's like working class, so it's like, middle class, lower middle class in the United States, or maybe even a little bit poor. So, I don't know. I mean, Northern England is seriously one of the greatest places I know of, at least in my own mind, that exists in the whole world. But, that's just whatever I know about the place. I've never actually been there. I just know that there's a really beautiful forest between Scotland and England. And a lot of people in my church come from that area of the world. And there's the ocean right there. And should be a lot of great food. Sheepies. And they speak English, so you actually, if the United States go somewhere and you actually can understand them and they understand you. And great culture, great people. What's not to like? Well, just like here in Washington State, over there in Northern England, if you are just trapped in your own little world to some degree, it's the same kind of deal. It's tough, You see, folks, in my life, I do have a lot going on for me. I always do. There's never a time when I am like, oh man, I literally have nothing to live for. I have nothing. There are things. There are times I say I have some time off, or I feel like I can relax a little bit. But there is. It's every day. There are things that I need to be about doing in life. It keeps me going. It keeps my life having purpose. To me, the funny thing is, what I'm trying to say, folks, is that a lot of this stuff is heavy, but a lot of this stuff is very meaningful. You wouldn't. I don't know if you understand how meaningful it is to see these kinds of videos on YouTube over and over again. I wonder sometimes if you have some people that have 500,000 views of a video where they're kind of getting emotional because they're so lonely, and you have other videos kind of similar deals going on. Maybe it's different. It doesn't have hardly any views or whatever it is. I almost wonder. I would hate this to be the case, but I actually wonder if, in some cases, some people are faking it. Seems like such a evil, I would say, dare say, satanic thing to do. But I don't know. You know, you can definitely tell, though, I think, what's going on with people. I mean, if you... Well, I don't know. In my opinion, if you listen to somebody, you can hear their real character coming through on some level. What often happens, by the way, again, in my life, I don't know, I got sometimes I'll do something different. I tend to be at my most reflective sometimes late at night. And so you guys get sometimes my really reflective thoughts. And I might sound a little tired. Well, would you prefer that I'm really high energy and smiley and the bright sunshine? And yeah, I mentioned this before. I'm not Matthew Santoro, and even Matthew Santoro is definitely not always super cheerful. I definitely can be very cheerful, but at night I'm tired and I'm reflective. But I'm not depressed. You know, but going back to an earlier train of thought, if somebody has a lot going for them in life, if they're always about certain things, if there's goals, and they're working hard, and the life takes on more purpose, has more meaning, that person is much less of a chance that person's going to be really depressed. When somebody has nothing going on in their life, like nothing, absolutely nothing, there's a much better chance for that person to be depressed. I don't fully understand depression myself. I'm not really, I wouldn't consider myself to be a person, especially in a case of psychology. I don't know. I understand, I think, a fair amount of it about this stuff, but it's not I don't understand it professionally. I don't, it's, but on some level, the subject of depression is a chemical or a physical or a nutritive kind of whole deal about it. And then there's other things about that state of being that are definitely less physical and more spiritual, or something more tangible going on that is tough. But I don't know, like, just some of what I have to say here is not easy to put in words, but it still needs to be said. I had one of my, I won't say who, somebody very close to me, was kind of had some concerns about how I was doing things on YouTube. And maybe I had a few thoughts about this sort of thing. Maybe. One of them is that, as you guys know, I tend to not just roll over and play dead when somebody's being a total asshole. That's not really in my nature. But I'm probably less aggressive than many other folks. I wouldn't consider myself to be an aggressive person. Really, to be honest, it's kind of like if somebody just says something out of the blue that's completely unexpected, you guys better believe that I'm gonna, you know, it's go time. But if I was seriously being a jerk, and I knew I was being a jerk, that's nobody known to happen before, sure. Right? I had been not such a nice boy. Then if somebody were to call me on it, or if somebody was doing whatever, okay, that kind of stuff that's a different situation. I'm like, okay, but that really doesn't happen online. You'd have to know me in real life, and it would have to be some situation. Just what's ever happened on my YouTube channel, or I mean, really, what's ever happened in that respect? If it's happened, something's happened like that, then it's usually been on other people's channels or on other comments I've made. or something like that. It hasn't really been on my own channel because on my own channel, I've just expressed things as best as I could, and I haven't really had a whole lot of feedback because I guess it's human nature to not really want to give a lot of feedback and just watch. You know, most people, at least that watch my videos, don't seem to be especially chatty. Whatever, it is what it is, and there are at least some people that like to make sometimes certain comments, and that's great. I'm always welcoming comments. In fact, I would even more strongly encourage comments. But, see, folks, taking these thoughts about my videos in stride a little bit, seeing where I could do things a little better. I realize that on some level, this boils down to what kind of character each of us have in our hearts. So, this is about as direct as I want to be in this video at this point. What I'm about to say can sound brutally direct, and I don't mean it to sound aggressive or anything of the sort. But those of you who are indeed miserable, but instead of feeling sorrowful and humbled by things that are hard in life, instead of doing that, you feel a need to manage those feelings in a way where you attack people. I don't know how that worked out for you guys that are like that when you were a boy. I don't know about things when you were a teen. I don't know if you're an adult, how things are working out for you that way if you're an adult. I just know that people that are that way are completely and absolutely, every way, shape, and form, miserable. And in a way, far more so than people that are having tough things in their lives, but they still have a great deal of humility and capacity for feeling sorrow. That sort of thing. What's dangerous ground is when you don't feel sorrow anymore. Or you don't feel guilt, you don't feel shame, you don't feel any kind of humanity whatsoever. That's a really, really bad place to be. I would seriously hope that none of you guys are in that way of being in that state. That's a really bad place to be. I seriously doubt that any of you guys watching this video are in that spot. But, you know, if you feel deep sorrow, if you just feel emotions, the more you feel those emotions, even if they're really hard to go through, that is a sign that you guys are doing okay, right? As I've said this before, I am here for you guys. I read every comment. I wish we had more interaction. When I watch these videos, and twice a year, about General Conference and apostles in the 70s give talks and things, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff that we talk about. And then, you know, I remember sometimes going to these functions, right, where it was encouraged for me to socialize with other people that were LDS and my age or whatever, and all that stuff. It often backfired because, again, it just depends on the person. Some people really are amazing, and they are amazing because they're amazing. You can't always explain why, they just are. Other people, doesn't matter what you do. many people are gonna keep falling back to their old ways that are just kind of not so amazing, even if it's just a social thing. But we keep trying. I don't know. But this is a very vexing thing, and it would be vexing for anybody. And I just, man, in my heart of hearts, it's as plain as day and night. People have not, by and large, people just I've rarely felt like people really wanted to know who I was. Rarely. Maybe that's a little extreme. Most of the time. That certainly applies to public school, my public school experience. People, I don't know what people wanted. If you asked me, for all of the people I went, at least this is just my high school, my graduating class. If you asked people in my high school graduating class, what they wanted in life or how they viewed various people, you might get some pretty pleasant answers by this point in, how where we are in life. I wouldn't really know, but it's probably, I don't know. They probably have an air of respectability about themselves. Some people now, I don't. But I know, like, just this is just one of those flat out givens that most people didn't really understand how I was, and most people didn't really care to know who I was, or didn't really care to talk to me very much. That was most people in my graduating class. Why? I have no idea why. You guys tell me. That's what we all speculate that stuff. We speculate why some girls like you and some girls don't, or if you're a girl, why some guys like you and some guys don't. We just never get these straight answers. And if we ever go there, most often people get really uncomfortable, right? But this is what we need to know. This is what we want to know. So when I hear these, I don't know. It's late. I need to go to bed here soon. But when I hear these general conference talks, I don't always enjoy hearing talks. Why? Because I want to talk to people and have meaningful conversations. To me, that is worth millions and millions of times more emotionally sometimes than hearing talk after talk. But, and I do mean this, there are times when I hear the apostles talk, that really is something that you just kind of drop everything you're doing and just listen. That's just me. I'm not trying to say that the 70s in my church are boring. I'm just saying, wow, man, like you just can't help but listen to what they're saying. And this is a spiritual thing. This is a very spiritual thing. I'm talking about all this stuff tonight that is very much the sort of thing that's I think kind of meaty. I'll put it that way. It's just very meaty, and it's just very evident to me that maybe a lot of I'm going through, which is something I think that everyone else is going through, apparently, is forcing us, compelling us to be humble in some way. Humbler than we were. So that's a good thing, right? But it's really hard. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of something that is like spiritually challenging or this is the definition of what spiritual growth is. Struggle. Not giving up. Yeah. All right. I'll leave it with thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye.